I am Olivia Parker, aged 30. The first instance my family elucidated my role within their dynamic occurred one morning when they annulled my birthday celebration in favor of an occasion for my sister. "We are postponing your party, dear," my mother proclaimed, her tone as smooth as polished silver. "Larissa has a dinner engagement with the mayor's son, and we must ensure the house is immaculate." She was arranging white roses as if we were preparing for an art exhibit rather than utilizing our living room in Brookfield, Connecticut. Meanwhile, my father polished a serving tray that had not seen the light of day in 10 years. Larissa entered, clad in a cream dress that I had inadvertently contributed to. It was the kind of dress that announces its price before a person could. "25 is not a milestone," she remarked, embodying the attitude of someone who had never been required to strive for anything. There were no festive decorations, no breakfast pancakes, and not a single person uttered the words, "Happy birthday." Instead, it was a calculated redistribution of resources. My birthday was set aside like a chair moved to clear a path toward Preston Whitaker III's attention. I stood in the kitchen, with the high-end espresso machine I had gifted them hissing in the background, and I felt something deeper than anger rupture within me. For a year and a half, I had facilitated our mortgage as if it flowed through my veins, $3,200 monthly, transferred from my account to theirs. I covered not only the insurance and property taxes but also the lawn service that my mother insisted augmented curb appeal and the fees for the cleaning lady who was more acquainted with my schedule than my mother. I was the reliable daughter, the practical one, the youngest senior analyst at Ridgeline and Ames, managing corporate restructurings independently, all while maintaining the quiet force that sustained the Carter household. They did not merely cancel a party, they extinguished the illusion that I had value here beyond being a financial entry. "Could you contact the guests?" my mother inquired, relief evident in her complexion when I acquiesced with a nod. Understanding Olivia, the good girl. Her focus swiftly moved past me to the crystal, the flowers, the meticulous arrangement to impress the Whitaker family. I ascended the stairs to the room I had returned to 2 years prior to aid during a temporary financial strain, opened my laptop, and accessed the banking dashboard, which had transformed our family's existence into a spreadsheet I managed. The upcoming mortgage transaction lit up the screen like a promise I no longer intended to uphold. I navigated to the settings and paused the payment. My thumb lingered long enough to allow the past to make its case. Then, confirming the action, a wave of relief washed over me, akin to placing down a box I had been pretending was not cumbersome. My phone vibrated. It was Jessa, my closest friend since college. "Just landed. Where am I meeting the birthday girl?" I replied, "Change of plans. Meet me at the Damien Marriott. We are celebrating in a different manner." As my mother perfected her act downstairs, I revised the narrative upstairs. I searched for apartments in the downtown area and reviewed the property tax portal, noting the next payment was due in 10 days. I accessed my insurance account to schedule removals, not acts of sabotage or revenge, but the elimination of subsidies, reality restored. By the time I settled into the driver's seat of my old Civic, headed toward the airport, the sky above I-91 resembled a pewter hue. Jessa's fiery red hair appeared like a beacon at the arrival curb. She embraced me tightly, whispering, "Happy birthday to the CFO of everyone's mess." We drove into Hartford as I divulged my story, recounting the canceled party, the 18 months of burden, the litany of minor humiliations that only become apparent when examined in their totality. "How long?" she inquired upon hearing about the mortgage. 18 months, I responded. Her whistle pierced the atmosphere. "That's not supportive. That's triage for a patient who declined surgery." In the lobby bar, she ordered champagne, an indulgence I believed I did not merit. I pulled up the spreadsheets that no one in my family had ever shown any interest in. Car insurance, health premiums, the gym membership my sister never utilized but flaunted, the boutique subscriptions, the BMW lease in Larissa's name that I had co-signed at our parents' insistence since they believed my credit profile warranted it. The mileage overage, the unreported door dent, the financial penalties lurking just beneath the surface. My father's office is situated in a building that epitomizes success without merit. The club dues and timeshare brochures, misleadingly labeled as investments, cluttered a file on his desk. The cryptocurrency pitch deck, the multi-level marketing schemes, and IRS correspondence were all present. I revealed to Jessa the forged loan application I discovered in May, with my name inscribed in my sister's delicate handwriting. Following that, I commissioned an investigator's report because I desired verified facts for potential legal proceedings. I had meticulously documented everything because that was my profession, recording every debt, every transfer, every trivial justification. I could salvage other people's companies in my sleep, yet my own family mistook my adeptness for an inexhaustible resource. What is the plan? Jessa inquired, her gaze unwavering, as though she was bracing for my response. Consequences, I stated firmly. Not cruelty, but clarity. I had already outlined the necessary sequence. The mortgage transfer was cancelled past the deadline, instigating a notification that would disrupt the denial. Insurance cancellations took effect on Monday. Property taxes remained for them to uncover before liens initiated. Subscriptions were terminated in a cascading effect. Thus, for the first time, Larissa would comprehend the seriousness of financial matters. I planned to vacate before the initial blow struck, so my determination would not waver upon hearing my mother weeping. I had received a job offer from a startup in Hartford that was nearly equivalent to my salary yet allowed me the flexibility to cultivate my own clientele. A loft was approved, a landlord awaited my signature, and a surprisingly affordable independent life was attainable once I ceased underwriting their outcomes. We raised our glasses, and Jessa remarked on the importance of understanding that mercy should not be mistaken for love. I replied and composed a brief note to accompany the champagne I had arranged for delivery to my parents' dinner. It read, "Congratulations on prioritizing what matters most. Love, Olivia." Yet, my true intent was a farewell. The lights of Hartford illuminated outside the hotel windows, one building at a time, as the city exhaled into the night. I closed the laptop, knowing that this evening, my family would receive exactly what they chose, a perfect scene centered on my sister's future. Tomorrow would reveal the consequences of neglecting foundational issues to embellish the exterior. Sunday morning arrived, and my phone shrieked, disrupting the silence of the Hartford hotel suite. I almost refrained from responding, yet habit still held its sway. My mother's voice trembled through the line. "Larissa, thank God. The bank has contacted us. Our mortgage payment has been declined. There must be some error. Rectify this immediately." Through the expansive window, sunlight bathed the city in golden hues. I first wished her a good morning, as that was important to me. Then, with composure, I informed her that there was no error, I had not made the payment. The silence that followed was weighty, interrupted only by my father's voice asking pressing questions that she could not answer. "What do you mean you did not make the payment?" she whispered. I reiterated the same. I had cancelled the transfer. My father joined the call, his voice rising in demand for clarity. "The insurance policies will be cancelled effective tomorrow. Property taxes are due in 9 days. There are issues with the BMW lease, phone lines, gym memberships, and subscription services. You can figure it out," I stated evenly. "You always had options, you simply never had to implement them before." The outburst was immediate. My mother was pleading, my father bargaining, and my sister was shrieking about her car, her phone, and her country club dinner next weekend. Their voices overlapped until their urgency became a cacophony. When I interjected, my tone startled even me with its calmness. "Do you have any idea how much I have been carrying? $4,800 each month, mortgage, taxes, insurance, and luxuries. I have documentation for everything, your debts, your loans, Madison's credit card balances, and the forged application she attempted to submit under my name. I have served as your safety net. That ends today." Madison's voice broke sharply, accusing me of being vindictive, cruel, and preoccupied with a birthday. That single word, foolish, was the final incrimination. She remained convinced that this was solely about cake and candles. I outlined the potential consequences regarding her car, the looming repossession, her phone, her subscription ceasing, and her modeling fund extinguished. If she desired to maintain her facade, perhaps Marcus Whitaker would pick up the expenses. Alternatively, she could pursue an actual job like most 23-year-olds. My father, still attempting a diplomatic approach, proposed loans, repayment plans, and temporary compromises. I laughed, not out of joy but from the dark realization of how blind they had been. I have been warning you for 2 years. You disregarded me because it was simpler to deplete my resources than to mature. They finally resorted to the sound I had long anticipated, individuals actually confronting reality. No longer could they defer responsibilities to me. No more could they count on me to resolve their issues. Now, they faced deadlines and repercussions. My mother inquired what I desired. My answer: respect, accountability, and recognition that I was not merely a resource but an individual. I have accepted a new position. I am relocating. I am prioritizing my future. My father's voice faltered on the word relocating. My mother whispered, "You are abandoning us." I conveyed the truth to them: I am moving on. In the background, Madison pleaded, her desperation finally breaking through her typically sweet tone. "I cannot arrive in Dad's Honda. What will I tell Marcus?" I stated firmly, share the truth, or share nothing at all. That decision is yours, and for once, it is solely yours. The panic subsided, yielding to a stunned silence. I informed them they had 10 days to address the mortgage, the same options available to any family: reduce expenses, liquidate assets, and generate income. I was not unique, they were not powerless. They had merely convinced themselves they were. I concluded the call, power off on the phone, and gazed out at Hartford, a city vibrant with strangers living their own chosen existences. For the first time in years, I was on the brink of joining them. By Wednesday, the deluge commenced. Correspondences from my mother indicated that the insurance had expired. I am unable to drive due to my father's situation. The bank is requesting $3,472 along with additional charges. What are our options? This message was from Larissa. My phone line was cut off abruptly while I was speaking with Marcus. Resolve this immediately. Their disintegration presented itself on my screen in a flurry of distressing messages. Subsequently, Tony, my father's business associate, directly contacted me. He disclosed that he had been diverting $18,000 from the company to meet personal expenses, his tone laced with anger. If he fails to reimburse the funds, we will be unable to meet payroll obligations. I will terminate the partnership and report him. I remained seated, feeling the gravity of my father's betrayal weigh heavily upon me. It was not merely a case of mismanagement. He had embezzled from our employees and from the business, all while cloaking it in the falsehood that his dependable daughter maintained our stability. The next call sent a shiver down my spine. Marcus, always courteous and meticulous, informed me that Mrs. Carter requested his assistance. He stated, "You are withholding funds that are affecting her car and phone services." My laughter was short, devoid of joy, as I clarified the reality without any venom. I no longer subsidized their lifestyles. Marcus fell silent. Madison suggested that this might stem from sibling rivalry concerning a birthday. However, the implications of this were serious. His tone shifted to one of deliberation and strategy. "I shall request her to be forthright. I appreciated your honesty." After ending the call, I trembled, caught between vindication and sorrow. Even Madison's new companion would discern the truths now. That evening, Aunt Caroline phoned. She had traveled for the cancelled gathering and found herself amid a crisis. My mother was weeping, while my father murmured about bankruptcy. Larissa had isolated herself in her room. "Are you truly ready to allow them to lose their home?" she asked, tension in her voice. I responded, "Yes, perhaps this is exactly what they need." Sometimes, only through fire can certain individuals learn to avoid playing with flames. "They are trying," Caroline whispered earnestly. "Your father has approached 3 banks. Your mother has contacted everyone she knows. Larissa submitted 6 job applications yesterday." I closed my eyes, recognizing the painful yet necessary progress. They were finally grasping the importance of effort. They were becoming acquainted with hunger. They were learning about life. By Thursday, the persistent knocking at my apartment door revealed a visitor I did not anticipate so soon, Larissa. Her eyes were puffy, her hair tied back in a disheveled ponytail, and the luster she once radiated had been replaced by the weary countenance of someone who had been weeping excessively. Clad in jeans and a wrinkled t-shirt, she no longer embodied the polished image she once maintained. "May I enter?" she inquired, her voice devoid of pretense. I stepped aside. She surveyed the loft, her eyes highlighting the unembellished furniture and the desk where spreadsheets illuminated my laptop. The ordered environment elicited a comment from her. "This is truly lovely," she murmured, as though recognizing for the first time that I had created something beyond the confines of the Carter household. "I have been saving for it for many years," I replied, and we lapsed into silence until her words finally erupted from her. "Marcus ended our relationship yesterday," she stated flatly, as though she had rehearsed it too many times to feel the sting. I prepared for venomous remarks, yet what followed disarmed me. He expressed his discomfort with being deceived, stating that he desired transparency rather than falsehoods. He was correct. I have been pretending to be an individual I am not, and I remain uncertain of my true identity. Her voice wavered, and for the first time in many years, I beheld not the self-satisfied younger sister I had long supported, but a young woman who had never been required to assume responsibility for herself. "How do you manage?" she whispered. "How do you pay bills, save money, plan for the future, and maintain composure?" A soft, sorrowful laugh escaped me. "I do crumble. Larissa, it is not an effortless endeavor, it requires discipline. It entails prioritizing what is significant and making sacrifices for it. It proves effective every single day." She nodded repeatedly, her chin quivering. "I applied for a full-time position. A marketing assistant earns only $32,000 annually, but it is a start. I am also selling my garments and jewelry. They suggested I could receive around $15,000. I am striving, Olivia." Her voice cracked on the final word. And this time, it was not an act of manipulation, it was genuine. I felt pride beginning to replace the bitterness that had lingered so long. She was finally confronting reality with unprotected hands. "That is a beginning," I affirmed. "Do not halt. Continue moving toward it." She nodded once more, her chin quaking. "Mother is contemplating full-time employment. Father claims he will reimburse Tony, but he remains uncertain how to proceed. They harbor resentment toward you, yet they are also coming to realizations." She looked at me, and her eyes conveyed a clarity I had never witnessed before. "We treated you as though you were an automaton, as if your finances were not your own. We have behaved despicably." Something within me began to loosen. I had never truly despised her, I had only resented what she symbolized and what she demanded of me. "I never wished to punish you," I confessed. "I desired for you to evolve, for all of us to progress." She rose to depart, her hand lingering on the back of the chair. "I am uncertain whether Mother and Father will ever acknowledge it," she said softly. "However, I intend to strive to be different. I no longer wish to embody that persona." After she closed the door, I remained in silence. For the first instant since the party was called off, I experienced an emotion more powerful than relief, hope. 3 months have elapsed. The December snow cushioned the streets of Hartford, and my consulting firm, Carter Financial Solutions, was mere days away from its official inauguration. My phone began to ring. It was my mother's number. Her voice trembled, not from panic, but rather with hesitation and almost humility. "Olivia, I trust one am not interrupting. I have something important to share. We managed to save the house. Just barely, but we succeeded. Your father sold the Cadillac, I parted with some jewelry, Larissa sold her possessions, and I accepted a full-time role at the regional library, overseeing adult literacy programs. I find it fulfilling." Her voice faltered momentarily, yet she continued. "Your father's business adapted. He has a smaller office now, utilizing modern software and virtual services. His revenue has increased by 30%. As for Larissa, she is attending night classes for business, working full-time and dating someone who brings her joy, not someone who requires her to pose. I listened, a lump forming in my throat as I absorbed words I once thought I would never encounter. Transformation. Authentic transformation. Most importantly, she murmured, I need you to understand that I am sorry. We did not merely take your money, we exploited your future. We treated you as a resource instead of our daughter. I detest that it required losing you to make us realize it. I gazed out at the skyline where my new life sparkled. For the first time, I allowed myself to trust that she was sincere. During Christmas, I traveled back to Brookfield. The house appeared more modest, devoid of pretense. My father, apron askew, was in a heated discussion with Larissa's new boyfriend regarding the appropriate turkey basting times. My mother's laughter was genuine. Larissa's smile was sincere. My father pulled me aside and pressed an envelope into my palm. $500. The initial installment towards you. Not because you require it, but because we owe you. Repayment is an act of respect. For once, his gaze did not command, it offered. I wept more at that envelope than I had over the rejection notice that had instilled fear in them. 6 months later, another envelope arrived containing their regular repayment check along with a birthday invitation. Not for Larissa, but for me, nothing extravagant, simply family and friends gathering to celebrate someone deserving of love and respect. I clutched the letter with trembling hands, recalling my 25th birthday when my celebration was cancelled for a dinner that never occurred. Now, my family wished to honor me, not for what I contributed, but for who I am. The crisis I had incited did not annihilate us, it rejuvenated us. Terminating their mortgage payment had not been an act of vengeance, but rather a gift of truth. Ultimately, it conferred upon me the most profound gift of all, a life of my own and a family finally deserving of my affection. Thank you for accompanying me on this journey. If Olivia's narrative resonated with you, subscribe to Vengeance Within, where we reveal the struggles concealed behind closed doors and the resilience required to overcome them.